All right, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, December 10th, 2022. Hope everybody is doing well, and man, what a crazy, crazy day for the World Cup. Hopefully everybody got a chance to watch the England-France game, as well as Portugal and Morocco. So big congratulations to Morocco. I think they are the first African nation ever to make it this far in the World Cup. I mean, insane. Just really, really great stuff all around. The England game was pretty good too. Very exciting stuff. So before we jump right into the stream here, since we are getting pretty close towards the end of the year, I thought it would be appropriate to screen share really quick. Now, if you see on your screen, this is actually a chart of the S&P 500, but it's dated December 7th of 2018, okay? Now, why am I showing you the overall chart of the major indice, the S&P 500 in 2018? Well, because I think we could pick up some similarities here. So if you notice, and we're gonna do, you'll sort of see the chart move here in real time. We're at the time where we had this massive waterfall sell-off here. So once we broke the lows at 2603, it was a pretty big cascade effect. But the thing is, that's when we actually bottomed, okay? The S&P 500 bottomed on Christmas Eve. It was a short trading day. And then we've subsequently rallied and bottomed throughout the 26th, the 27th, and 28th, all the way to a big, big, strong rally to the end of the year here. Now, I think is something the audio is out? Let me see. Anyway, I wanted to just show you guys that because we are trading well below the 200-day, and we are going to hear from the Federal Reserve, which could shake things up next week. Big inflation numbers out. So look, I'm not saying we're just going to have the same exact waterfall cascade sell-off as we had before, but I think it's important that we pay attention. So I will go ahead and close the laptop. We will get started. We are going to be walking to Greenwich Village tonight. And allow me a minute. All right. We are good. I see Mike C. What's up, Mike? Will M. Good to see you. Cosmo Scary, welcome. Thanks for joining. Oh yeah, that's right. The what is it called? The SantaCon stuff is today. All that craziness. I'll say hi to everybody in the chat once we get downstairs. Let me just get out here, but it's good to see everybody. SME Media. Hopefully you all had a good weekend so far. Crazy day for the World Cup. And congratulations to all of our French fans out there. All right, now we are on the ground floor. I completely forgot that the SantaCon was today. I'm not a real big fan of any of that stuff, but look, for those of you who enjoy it, hopefully you had a fantastic SantaCon. I see Cosmo Scary, Krog Dog, good to see you. This is Love Portugal, they were my pick to win it all. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I think the better team won. The real crazy game, in my opinion, was England-France. I mean, talk about just a wild, wild game. England had 2 PKs. They buried one of them, Harry Kane. But then he sent the other one over the bar. It was crazy because that's so uncharacteristic of Harry Kane. Super, super uncharacteristic of him. It's almost as if he forgot that he was playing European football and he thought he was playing American football, send it over the field goal. But look, all of our England fans, I think England had probably one of their best World Cups they've had in a long, long time. I thought they played well, but, you know, Evan Weeks is here. This is Evening Tom. Good to see you, Evan. Thanks for joining us tonight. I think we are going to walk over to Greenwich Village tonight. We haven't been there in a while on the live stream, and it is a very, very cold night out here in Manhattan. The temperatures are dropping quite fast. So we're going to cut over here. This is Canal Street. So we'll take a walk through SoHo up to Washington Square Park, and then hopefully we'll make it to Greenwich Village. Teresa Diaz is here. Welcome. Good to see you. UniJ22. Now, for those of you who are just joining, I tried to do a little bit of a screen share in the office, but I guess the internet is not good. So I was looking through some charts pretty much all day today, and I'm looking at the historical data, actually going all the way back to the 1980s for stock market performance in the major indices as it relates to the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the NASDAQ. And it got me thinking and remembering the late 2018 sell-off in the stock market. This is a really nice outdoor dining setup here. Now, does anybody remember in 2018, we had this massive waterfall sell-off all the way into Christmas Eve, and the S&P 500 actually put in a bottom on Christmas Eve, and then the day after Christmas, we went on to rally and had a pretty strong rally all the way throughout 2019, and then subsequently we know what happened in 2020 with the COVID virus. But I'm seeing some similarities here, and maybe some things that could even accelerate that. Now, I'm not saying we're gonna get this big, massive sell-off. I think it may be possible, mainly because next week we have very, very critical week in the markets, especially as it relates to the Fed. This is the last time we're gonna hear from the Fed all year, and we are probably going to get another 50 basis point rate hike. Really quick, this is Howard Street. This is one of my favorite locations here, right just north of Canal Street. Hey, George Romano is here. Good to see you. Says welcome. Good evening, Tom. Good to see you, George. Always a pleasure. Out and about. Welcome. Julia M is here. Good to see you, Julia. Trust you're well on this freezing cold night here in New York. Now, there's another really good restaurant, I think, all the way up here. You'll sort of see the lights on. Maybe we'll take a walk over there. But our final destination will be Greenwich Village. Selfridge is happy holidays, Tom. Hope everything is well with you. Ryan Royal, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Now, we are still having some minor technical difficulties with the chat. We're still using the other streaming software, so if I can't read all the comments, I do apologize in advance. Wendy England, good to see you. Sorry for the England loss today. I really thought they were going to win it at the end, but you can't miss PKs or penalties in the World Cup. I mean, Harry Kane sending one over the bar. Joseph Hardaway, what's up? Welcome. Selfridge. If you look all the way in the distance, you'll be able to see the Chrysler Building. I know Walking Minnesota is amazing work by Morocco, inspiring stuff. It's really just incredible how far they've made it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, is this the furthest that an African nation has ever gone in the World Cup? It has to be. But congratulations to them. Could you imagine if they actually go on to win it? Krog Dog says, Tom, right where you are, they filmed the movie Ghost in 1990. I'm going to have to look that up. I've never heard of that movie before. Cosmo Scary says, did you see Morocco celebrating in Times Square? I didn't. Ooh, now I'm tempted to make a trip up there. Are they still there, Cosmo? SME Media says, yes, that's what I heard. Furthest an African nation has gotten in the World Cup. Yeah, and I mean, think about, I couldn't even name one player on the Moroccan national team. Right? I mean, could anybody here? I mean, maybe you could, but I didn't even know they qualified. And I guess it's just, it's never over till it's over. But I still very unique and interesting loft apartments. Really, really cool. I know Victor Alfonso says, I wanted to see Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo. That would almost be like two-storyline textbook, wouldn't it? If Portugal and Argentina actually made it to the final. I think that would just be two textbook, two storyline, I think. GGMYC says Ronaldo cried because he didn't perform as well as he should have. I mean, at the end of the day, it's easy, and I try to catch myself doing this too. It's easy for me to criticize, but I mean, think about all the games that guy has played. Think about the crazy beatings that his body has taken over the years. And he's getting older, right, in relative terms for a professional athlete. So, but if you were to compare his performance at this World Cup to someone like Leo Messi, you can't even compare. I mean, Messi has pretty much carried the Argentinian team. But really good stuff. All right, we are now on Broome Street. Once again, if you look all the way down, you could see just the top, kind of the top of the Chrysler building here. This is the corner of Mercer Street. I'll give you guys one more shot of all the fire escapes on these buildings. This is one of my favorite things about being down here in SoHo is all these fire escapes. Lily is here, welcome. Marcos says, in 2026, Portugal is going to play better. We'll see. Mike C, what's up? This is Ronaldo cried 500 million tears. Well, I think, we were talking about, didn't he sign a contract with a team in Saudi Arabia? I think he's going to get paid $200 million for 2 years. So he's definitely going to end his career with a bang, I'd say that. Hey, Derek is here. Good to see you, Derek. My real name is Google. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again on this crazy World Cup Saturday. We're going to be taking a look at a lot of these loft apartments tonight. As you know, these are my favorite. Check out this one with the Christmas tree in there. Google says, yeah, that contract is crazy. Now, do we know if he actually signed it, or are these just rumors that are being sprawled about? Adrian Pommel says, good evening, Tom and team. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Kate says, good evening, all. Good to see you, Tom. Likewise, Kate. Hopefully you're resting up before this massive week coming up on Wall Street. We are going to get some inflation data. Obviously, the main CPI report comes out. We'll see if it comes in hotter than expected, right? The PPI numbers did come in hotter than expect. So we'll see. And then we are going to hear from the Federal Reserve at the conclusion of their FOMC meeting. So I really think that next week is going to set the tone for the conclusion of the year. You know, is it going to be risk on into the end of the year? Is it going to be risk off? We'll see. I tried to do a screen share at the beginning of the live stream, but we had bad internet. I'll try to post that up for tomorrow. That's another thing. Tomorrow we will not be live. I will be traveling, okay? So there's going to be no live stream, unfortunately, but I'm going to try to have at least one piece of content up for you guys. But I will be traveling pretty much all day. Hopefully my flight doesn't get delayed, by the way, because tomorrow is supposed to rain like crazy. We are now on the corner of Spring Street. What do you guys think about the more classic, olden style buildings as opposed to, you know, Midtown Manhattan, Billionaires Row, sort of glass skyscrapers? I think I may like these a little bit better, actually. Cosmo's scary. Was there actually a lot of people in the city for the SantaCon? I was in the city all day today. I didn't really see anybody. But then again, I really never pay attention to that SantaCon stuff. I didn't even know it was going on today. Dave Moore, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Gary Carpenter, NMB 045 says, I much prefer the old style buildings. I kind of do too. I think it's good that the city has sort of a nice robust contrast there. We're going to keep walking up until we reach Washington Square Park. We are crossing Spring Street, but tonight I think it's going to be cool to go to Greenwich Village. We haven't been to the Village in a long time, so. Vivian, what's up? Says I feel better in those. I do not like the heights. I like the classic style of actually walking into a normal door, if that makes sense. And I know it may sound crazy, but you know, in these mega tall Billionaires Row skyscrapers, you really don't have the sort of quaintness like this. Hey, Smee Media says 1 year my mom got stuck on a subway car with a whole bunch of Santas going to SantaCon. Oh my God. Yeah, that must have been an experience. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I never really got into that stuff. Probably because I don't drink alcohol. Maybe. Isn't that what SantaCon is about? People come into the city and do like bar hopping. Is that what it is? Yeah, DM says the older buildings are better constructed. DM, you make a good point. And that actually went into my decision making for buying a home in Southern Florida, because if you notice, a lot of the newer construction is not as solid, I feel, as some of the older construction in the 50s and the 60s with just the concrete block on concrete slab. A lot of the new construction tends to be of wood frame. Check this out. This is 130 Mercer, Scholastic. I didn't even know they were here. I'm sure everybody here remembers the Scholastic book fairs. I remember they would always have the Scholastic book fairs in elementary school. Even in middle school, I remember, before the Regents exams, if anybody remembers that nightmare. Any New Yorkers here remember the New York State Regents exams? Those were a blast. This is another nice looking outdoor dining space too, is it not? Sabrina Ferris says Tom is, yeah, he is always sober, yeah. Dan Zhang says, Tom, you know that the developer of Skyline Tower got sued by 90 of its residents because they are cheaply built. Wow. So the Skyline Tower is which one? 432? I heard about the horror stories in 432 Park Avenue. I'm not sure about the other one. I think there's a ton of civil lawsuits against the developers because there's supposedly like electrical issues all throughout the building. And the craziest thing I read in that New York Times article is that if it's too windy, sometimes the elevators stop working at 432 Park Avenue because the elevators physically cannot work because the building is bending. That's a little bit wild for me. I don't know if I could do that. But then again, thankfully I won't have that problem because I'm not a billionaire. I know, Natalie says fun time during the Regents exams. Yeah, always a good time there. This is an awesome little cafe here. I really like the look of it. I like how down in SoHo, as you notice, you could just walk the streets after, 7, 8 at night. There's hardly anybody there, but every couple blocks you have these really nice sort of cafes here, which are quite nice. Hey, Chan says, yes, I also drink there. Very nice. So what is this, like a pub / cafe? Looks really nice. Let's head down this way. We'll see, because I think once we reach Broadway, you'll be able to see a very clear, unobstructed view of the One World Trade Center. Using People says, do you like Molly's Cupcakes? I don't think I've ever heard of them. Oh, Dan Zhang, this is Tom. I'm talking about the Skyline Tower in Long Island City. I'm going to have to do some research into that. Now, Dan, is that like a mega tall or super tall skyscraper? This is the Apple store here. It looks like they're having a group meeting inside the Apple store here in SoHo. Now, we were talking about some of the logistical and supply chain issues as it relates to Apple. There was some breaking news out of Bloomberg, also on CNBC, that the iPhone 14 Pro, I believe it's called, or the Max, is not going to be in readily available supply. We could probably attribute that to the zero COVID policies, shutting down the Foxconn factories in China. This is on the corner of Prince Street and Green Street here. Really nice buildings. Karina Thompson is here, welcome. Dan Zhang says, yes, it's the tallest building in Queens. It beat out the former City building. Okay. I'm gonna have to do some research into that. I've probably seen it, obviously. Everybody knows the classic Citigroup building there. Dave Moore says, the Polo store, indeed. Yes, right across the street, Polo Ralph Lauren. I don't think I've ever been in here, but I've definitely walked past it. The displays are kind of nice. Using People says, Tom, what do you think of Prince Street Pizza? I think it's one of my favorite pizza shops in New York. Now, they're mainly known for their spicy pepperoni square slice, which is pretty good. Check out this building. This is really cool. You'll be able to see all the way inside the loft style. These are probably like offices. Some are probably apartments too. Really, really unique. Hey, the Dark Horse is my good friend Gabriella Hamilton. Was forced to close her restaurant in the Village after 20 years due to COVID and may be reopening. Hopefully. The restaurant is Prune, incredible space it was. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, that's horrible, the Dark Horse. Sorry that happened. Patrick, New York, what's up? God bless, good to see you. I think this should be Wooster Street, if I'm not mistaken. Then there should be just one more, and then you guys will see a really nice view of the One World Trade Center. It looks like the, what is it, the Ring doorbell's broken. Looks like there's a pretty interesting party going on in that apartment. This is a pretty good shot. If you look all the way down here, you can see the top of the One World Trade Center. Hey, Zozo Bob, welcome. Good to see you, Zozo Bob. Bob is joining us from Miami, Florida, where I will be next week. I do have to go back to Miami, Florida, but I will be back for the holidays, for Christmas. I got to check on the tenants, got to check on the house, do a couple of things, have a couple meetings. It should be a good time. It'll be nice to kind of get into some nicer weather, some warmer weather, I should say. But look, if you think about it, there's only 2 weeks until Christmas, right? So I'll probably be down there for maybe a week, week and a half. The year's almost over. 2023 is almost upon us, as wild and crazy as that sounds. Daryl says, Tom, would you live in a SoHo loft one day? 100%. I think if money wasn't an issue, right, I think the two places where I would choose to live is probably in one of these lofts in SoHo here, or probably 157. I really like that building. We walk past it quite often on the live stream. 157 is, in my opinion, the original building on Billionaires Row. It actually doubles as one of the most exclusive hotels in the entire city. It is called the Park Hyatt. Really, really nice. There is One World Trade Center again. Now, in 2023, we will be having there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming on the channel. Now, obviously, on Saturday nights, real quick, this is a good coffee shop here, La Colombe. Really, really good coffee. I usually go to this coffee shop right next to the Bank of China. It's actually connected into the Bank of China. So if you work there, there's actually its own separate entrance there. But Saturdays, as you know, there's no specific topic as it relates to finance. We kind of just walk around, have a good time. But there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming up for 2023 that I think you guys are going to be quite pleased with. Yes, SME Media is like, I still vote for having a top 10 moments on Walks on Wall Street compilation video. Yeah, that would be insane. We've seen some crazy stuff. We've seen some awesome stuff on this channel. I had a lot of fun over the year. I had a good time, so I thank you guys for that from the bottom of my heart. It's been an absolute blast. I think we've been having a good time here. Oh, Daryl, is that right? It says, Tom, you and the walking commuter both love the SoHo lofts. Yeah, I just think it's really unique, right? Because if you're familiar with New York, all of the apartments, now I shouldn't say all, but the majority of them, they're like these little shoebox apartments, right? So to be able to live, this is a pretty good segue because you'll see two beautiful ones right here with something that has so much wide open space. I'm gonna try to zoom in for you guys. Like, notice those must be what, 14-foot ceilings, would you say? If you guys had to guess, what was the ceiling height, do you think? I think that may be 14 foot. If we keep walking, you'll see. But just to be able to live in a place in New York City that has so much space is almost kind of unbelievable. Dave Moore, welcome. Shiva says, Tom, what street are you on? This is called West Broadway. This is sort of the start of SoHo. You'll have a lot of the art galleries here. Here's one right here. I think my favorite one we actually just passed. But there's a lot of interesting stuff here. Hey Fabio, what's up? This is, hey Tom, in your analysis, do you foresee a reduction in the property prices both for rent and for sale? I'm currently in Queens, New York, but I'm thinking of moving to Manhattan. Yeah, I mean, I do still foresee a downturn in the real estate market. This is actually my favorite art gallery. As you could tell, you see all the financial papers there. You could see Barron's, the Financial Times. I actually walked in here. I was going to purchase one of these, but the only reason why I didn't is because it's lacking my favorite newspaper, which is IBD, or Investors Business Daily. But it has all the other ones. You have the Wall Street Journal, you have Barron's, Financial Times, but it's just lacking the most important one, right? Now, I will say this. Real estate is a very, very rate-sensitive market. And next week, we are going to hear from Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, and they're going to raise interest rates yet again by probably 50 basis points. Now, if you look at all of the leading indicators that we've been looking at here on the channel, which includes but is not limited to the PMI numbers, both manufacturing and services, housing starts data, as well as permits, building permits data. It clearly shows or projects a huge slowdown in housing. If you look at the National Association of Realtors, their existing home sales data, it's honestly, it's just breathtaking, the decline. Every single month, I think for the 11th straight month of declines, and it makes sense, right? Because if you are a first-time home buyer, right, and your budget was $450,000, well, this time last year, you know, if you put 20% down on a 30-year fixed at a 3% interest rate, well, your mortgage is probably going to be what, $1,500. But now we've had a mere 100% move in interest rates. I mean, they've come down a little bit, right? But I think at its highest point this year, it was like 7.5%. It's probably 6.5% now that 10-year treasury yield has come down. And that's going to make a mortgage payment on a $450,000 house in the 3,000s, right? That's going to price a lot of people out of the market. So I think you're going to see sales transactions continue to crater, right? I don't think it's going to be Armageddon like 2008, but I think prices are going to come down. Could I be wrong? Yeah, of course. But we'll see. I don't know. Any thoughts there? What do you guys think? Wow, this seems to be a really interesting place too. Wow, try to look all the way inside there. You could actually see a gentleman playing the cello. That must sound amazing. You could kind of see him on the stream right here. That's awesome. It probably sounds amazing in there. Ibrahim Azam, my friend Disney cast member. Good to see you, Disney. Disney is joining us from New York, but upstate New York. Trust you're well. Thanks for being here tonight as we head to the Village, Greenwich Village. Gary Carpenter says, Tom, you might be wrong with the prices coming down. Yeah, of course. Of course I could be wrong. Nothing is guaranteed. Wow, this is a really interesting place. I really like the bar all the way in the back. Can you guys see that? It almost looks like a brick oven. Like, do you guys kind of see that? It almost looks like a brick oven kind of design. But they've transformed it into a bar. It looks really nice. Really nice down here. CT says it was a great spot. Joe Driver says rents have risen so high in New York City. There's a 39% drop in signed contracts from October to November this year. Yeah, you're correct. So that's sort of the theory, right? And now obviously nothing is guaranteed, right? The market will do what it wants. But here's what I think is the reason why we're not seeing more acceleration in price declines. And if we looked at the data, and we've been reviewing this almost to the point of ad nauseum now on the stream. That's really gross. Oh, is that place that everybody keeps talking about? This Carbone? I've never been here, but everybody hammers me about it in the email. A ton of people email me here and says, hey, what do you think about Carbone, this and that? I've honestly never been. Anybody in the chat ever been to Carbone here? Anyway, so I think the reason why I don't think we're seeing these huge price declines is because supply is still very, very low. Supply is still relatively low. We're not seeing this big glut of supply come onto the market. And I think that's where the argument, where people say this is going to be like 2008 all over again, I think that's where their biggest flaw in that argument is, because, oh no, here's the Sanacom people. I think the biggest flaw in that argument is in 2008, there was a massive glut of supply coming onto the market because defaults were so high, right? You had a wave of defaults and foreclosures because you had a ton of people essentially that we'll go this way. You had a ton of people defaulting on their mortgages at the same time because you had a ton of people that really weren't qualified candidates for homeownership getting homes on adjustable rate mortgages. So when the interest rates started to go up, a lot of people started to get hit with these massive, massive balloon payments. They couldn't afford to pay the mortgage. You had a wave of defaults, which led to foreclosures, which led to a massive tidal wave of supply coming onto the market. So, but you're right. We just do not have a lot of supply in the market still. Now, could there be a catalyst that brings that supply? Yeah, maybe. I'm just not sure what that's going to be. Anybody have any ideas of what that, potential catalyst could be? Hey, Brad's Brain, what's up? This is Tom. I've been packing and cleaning all day. Oh yeah, that's right, Brad. You're moving to Texas, man. Congratulations on your move. Please keep us updated. Let us know how it is. Please let us know how it is. Wendy England says, Tom, if a house comes up for sale here, it sells within minutes. Wendy England, you are in Montreal, is that correct? Excuse me if I'm incorrect there, but I think you're in Montreal or Vancouver. Now, the Canadian housing market is very, very hot as well. This is Bleecker Street. If you look all the way in front of you, you could actually see the top of the Empire State Building. Krog Dog says, Tom, do you ever listen to Dave Ramsey? I do sometimes, yeah. Vivian says, foreigners don't understand escrow and led to foreclosures at times, says Vivian. Sergio says, it seems like you'll experience some drunk Santas, yeah. NMB 045, that is right, you're the one from Montreal. Now, Vivian, what do you think about this? Because I've actually been saying I think a lot of people are going to be caught off guard here, especially first-time home buyers that bought in Texas. And here's what I mean by that. Here's a great view of the One World Trade Center. I'll try to see if I can get around the tree for you guys. I don't think we're going to be able to, but as it relates to property taxes. Now, here's what I mean. A lot of first-time home buyers that didn't do the research, maybe they were a little bit new to, obviously new to buying real estate, first-time home buyers. I don't think they really understand the tax implications when your taxes will re-rate to the new appraisal value. You're going to see your taxes balloon, especially in places like Texas. Texas has ridiculous property taxes. So even though people are like, wow, I can get a house with all of this square footage in Texas, the property tax bill could be, $10,000, $15,000. Same thing as it's like in Long Island, right? where I'm from, Massapequa, the property taxes are so egregious. I think a lot of people that were first-time home buyers in 2020 and 2021 are going to have a rude awakening when they get their new property tax bill, assuming the new appraisal value. Thoughts there? Any thoughts? Yes, SME Media says high property taxes in Texas, but no state income tax. That is true. You know, I was having this discussion, SME Media, with one of my good friends not too long ago. And we were like, you know what? At the end of the day, wherever you live, the tax man is gonna get you, right? It's either one way or the other, right? They're either gonna bang you over the head with the property taxes, or they're gonna fleece you with the state and city tax. You know, there's only two things that are ever guaranteed in this life, and two things only. The first one is everybody's gonna die, right? Everybody, including myself. Hopefully I got a few more years in me. But the second thing is taxes. You got to pay your taxes, or else they will throw you in the slammer. So, I mean, taxes are definitely a very tedious expense, I should say. Hey, Penelope is here. Good to see you. Penelope is joining us from Tennessee. Percy's Pizza. I've never been here before. Yeah, Ibrahim Azam, I think, is the youngest in the group. He doesn't pay taxes yet. Enjoy this time, Ibrahim, in your teenage years. Your early teenage years, I should say. Not paying taxes, not paying rent. Those were the days. Those were the days. Time lapse. Has anybody tried Neapolitan brick oven pizza? Yeah, there's actually a good spot, time lapse, right off of Wall Street. I think it's actually right on Wall Street, next to the Trump Tower.
Oh, there it is, there it is.
This is a nice outdoor dining space too. This is more the New York University's type college town area. Very busy here. John's Oblique is really good. The RT440 is Tom. I was looking. Let's read what the RT440 says. This is Tom. I was looking at some gorgeous houses in Manhattan Beach. They were $2 million houses, and the property taxes were $5,000 a year. Wow, that is almost nothing. I don't think that's right. Now, if you're looking on Zillow, now here's where I think a lot of people get tricked. So if you're looking on Zillow and they tell you what the property taxes are, those are not the accurate and appropriate property taxes that you will be paying, right? So I'll give you this example. Wow, the NYU college town is really, really busy tonight. I'll give you this example, and hopefully this helps. Try to find a home on Zillow that hasn't really ever been sold, right? So let's say the owner bought it in 1950 and they never really sold it. Now, chances are it's gonna be like a $450,000 house, and it's gonna be like a $2,000 property tax bill, which is, if they were to sell that property to me or you, that property tax bill would probably double, right? Depending on where you are. Because there's limitations or specific limitations on how much property taxes can go up when you own it personally, especially if you have a homestead, right? Let's say if you live in Florida and you have a homestead exemption, there's a cap or a limit to the amount that the property taxes can go up. So I would, if I had to bet, I'd say it's probably not accurate for what you would pay. Well, look at this line here. It seems like a lot of people are lined up for something. Vivian is correct, says, hey Tom, usually no homestead exemption is applied to the Zillow tax figure. Yeah, and I think that's why you really got to do the diligence and do the work, right? Hey, Deborah is here, says, Tom, thank you for being out during SantaCon. Yeah, I didn't even know it was SantaCon this weekend. Cosmo, our good moderator, told us. Oh, is that the Comedy Cellar line? Is it really? Interesting. We'll walk up a couple more blocks and then we will try to make our way to Greenwich Village. Mike C says, I think there are $2 million homes in California under Prop 13, where they bought 40 plus years ago with only 5K tax bills. Yeah, I think there's a lot of those like type of nuanced things here in New York too, where, you know, a lot of the old money that have beautiful apartments on the Upper East Side and on the Upper West Side, their property tax bills are very, very tiny as well. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm seeing a lot of comments about the Long Island property taxes. Now, here's the thing, and it's going to sound crazy, but it is true. We're almost to Washington Square Park. Even though Long Island has very, very aggressive and egregious property taxes, it's actually not the worst in the country, by the way. Parts of New Jersey, I think New Jersey as a state leads the country for property taxes, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe if we have a viewer from New Jersey who could chime in if you own property. I think New Jersey may be a higher tax state than New York, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Edward Adams says you might as well go down to the financial district, World Trade Center perhaps. Yeah, the thing is, I gotta get home kinda early tonight because I have a flight to catch. Not early, my flight's around 1 o'clock, but I was looking on Twitter. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a hack, life tip. Before you fly out, the day before, always look on Twitter at the location services for like JFK, because it'll usually be people, if you're tweeting about JFK Airport, you're usually complaining about the lines. And so I looked at that earlier today, and the lines were insane at JFK. Obviously, you know, it's the weekend, headed into the holiday season, so I want to get to the airport, I don't know, maybe like 10 o'clock for my 1 o'clock flight. I just don't want to miss it. Also, tomorrow is going to be horrible weather. It's going to rain, I think, starting at 1 o'clock. My luck. That's a really nice shot of the Empire State Building right in front of us. And this is the official start of Washington Square Park. Maybe I'll take you guys on a lap through Washington Square Park. We haven't done this in a while. Oh, it's gonna be a snowstorm. I thought it was gonna rain. I didn't think it was gonna be snowing. Edward Adams, good to see you, my friend. Gary Carpenter, DL. Fred X, thanks for joining. Selfridge is Santa Claus on the street corner. It must be December. Yeah, we have this, I think you could probably call it a tradition, right? In New York, where we have one weekend where a lot of just people come in, hang out, have a couple drinks in the city, called SantaCon. I've never really participated in it, but look, if that's your thing, if that's what you like to do, just as long as you're being safe, hopefully you have a good night. Mike C says, Tom, my daughter is interviewing next week for a flight attendant job. She's super excited. Oh my God, Mike, hoping and praying for the best. Let's hope she nails down and closes that deal. Now, I used to know a flight attendant back in my college days, and she would say that it's a good job and a very tiring job, but you get to see the entire country and sometimes the entire world, depending on which airline you're flying, right? So I think for life experience, I think being a flight attendant is a good step because it's going to force you to visit and travel all parts of the country. So I think that's fantastic. Hopefully she gets it. I'm sure she's going to nail it. Krog Dog says, careful, Tom. There are an estimated 20,000 people buried beneath Washington Square Park. Yeah, you're right. This was a cemetery back in the day. Now, Washington Square Park, I'm surprised it's pretty dead. Usually this place is rip-roaring. Washington Square Park is nuts on Halloween and pretty much any weekend night during the summer. You have all the skateboarders, all the people smoking weed, all this stuff, you know? In my college days, I used to be right here, skateboarding with these guys. This is actually the fountain, but obviously it's freezing, so it's a good time. Washington Square Park is a good time. There's some really, really talented skaters here, by the way. Ah, that's right. Here it is, the Christmas tree right at Washington Square Park. What do you guys think? We got to give a rating. So we did the rating for Wall Street. We did the rating for the one and only Rockefeller Center. What do we got? All right, I'm going to go. I'm going to say an 8-2. Oh, they just got engaged. That ups the score. I'm going to say 9-1. That little, they snuck that in just to get the score up a little bit. So 9-1. It was an 8-3. So that saved it. It did a, you know. It's pretty good. It's small, but it's nice. Lizzie Hatch is 8. Yeah, it's nice, but hey, Lockjaw, what's up? Long time no see. Good to see you, Lockjaw. Hopefully you are well and enjoying your weekend before this crazy, busy week on Wall Street. We're going to get inflation data in here from the Federal Reserve. Alexandria is here, says, I'm happy everybody's getting festive. I'm happy too. Man, the arch is really, really nice.
Right? Yeah.
Sonia C says, Tom, have you done your Christmas shopping? I haven't. I've been very lackadaisical on that. I got to step it up. And I also got to do a lot of gift shopping for clients, which I haven't done that either. You know, I think since next week I'm going to be back in Miami. Even though I have a lot of stuff to do around the house, like my tenants are leaving. I may have another booking, so I got to clean the house, I got to mow the lawn, all the nonsense, right? But I think I'm going to take like 2 days off to just relax, regather myself. And I think that's when I'm going to bang out all of my holiday cards for clients and things like that. And also, so what do you guys send to clients? If you guys have clients, what do you usually do? For me, the vast majority, oh, this is a really nice shot of this. This tree is the only one that's holding on to all its leaves. It's a very big anomaly. Now, a lot of my clientele is Jewish, so I always order off of a website called kosherline.com for Hanukkah baskets for the holidays. They actually have some pretty good stuff, and it's a great service. They deliver it right to the offices. They do personalized cards, everything. So that's what I usually do every year. But yeah, I haven't done that. I got to get on that, like ASAP. Deborah says, oh, I don't have clients, but we are a client. And we get a lot of gift baskets, cookies, stuff like that. Yeah, well, that's good. That's always good. We'll let this cab go by. It's SantaCon night, so I think the driver's going to be extra horrible. Jimmy Boyles, I am not, but it just so happens a lot of my clients are. But I am not. I am Irish, Italian, Catholic, so very stereotypical. Oh, guys, this is the Washington Square Hotel. I've been meaning to show you guys this. Hold on, let me just get around this. What are these things called? These dumpsters? We have some pumpkin carnage from the Halloween. Yeah, it looks like they're doing some big renovation here. But this is the Washington Square Hotel. Michael Joseph says wine bottles, gift baskets, etc. That's what I used to get from my boss. I always used to get him a bottle of wine. Back in the day, my former boss was a huge wine connoisseur. So that's what I would get him. Let me see if I could just show you guys in the lobby. Just to give you guys a peek. Very nice lobby. Once again, the Washington Square Hotel. Wow, Hawaii's like pumpkin carnage. Yeah, from the, what's it called? The Halloween there. Whoa, look at this. I really got to show you guys this. Now, you'll notice as we make our way over to Greenwich Village, notice how unbelievable the architecture is on some of these homes here. I think this one was just newly remodeled. Look at how absolutely breathtaking this one is. Is that not like storybook kind of architecture here? I mean, wow. You could almost see right into it. Huge ceilings, massive chandeliers. It's almost like it has this cast iron sort of trim around the perimeter of the windows. Very, very cool. Yeah, GGNYC, it's stunning, isn't it? It's amazing. I think they just finished the remodeling on that. I'll try to get a little bit closer just so we can pick up the subtle notes of the colors on the building. Yeah, it looks like they redid the entire walkway here leading up. Really nice. I know Lockjaw says that building is a work of art, absolutely beautiful. It really is, and that's why I like to come down here. Because obviously, if you've been watching the streams, we tend to do the streams more towards Midtown, because that's generally where I am for work. But it's nice to come down here and see the more older style, original, classic New York architecture. Now, team, here's a coffee shop I've never been to. It's called Saltwater Coffee. I may have to give it a try for you guys. Yeah, Ryan Beck says, I like the white, nice contrast with everything else. It probably looks stunning during the daytime. I'll have to try this place out, Saltwater Coffee. Now, that is another thing that is coming in the new year, 2023. There's going to be a lot of interesting things coming to the channel. I do get a lot of emails, and trust and believe I do read each and every one of them. I may not respond to every one, just because life has been kind of hectic. But I am taking note, and there's going to be a lot of interesting things coming, specifically as it relates to real estate on the stream. I think it would be very unique, more hitting on the points of deal analysis and analyzing the deal flow. So I will be getting access to some, like let's say if we're in Miami, maybe we will walk the premise of a multifamily unit and do the deal analysis live on stream. If we're in New York, maybe at the top of the hour, we could pop into one of these apartments, do a quick tour, do the deal analysis there live. So that's coming. I've been getting a massive amount of requests for that. And that is coming, don't worry. All of that is coming in the new year, my friends. Really nice view of One World Trade Center as we pass Washington Place,
Okay, we're gonna cross.
West 4th Street. So we're gonna make a right near the Papaya Dog here. Hey, Igor says, hey, sir, have you been to Bryant Park yet for the Christmas shopping? Yes, Igor, we have been there. So the Bryant Park Winter Village. I haven't really gone there as much as I'd liked, but it is beautiful there. Hopefully you're having a good weekend, Igor. Shiva says you should come to Mexico City, walk some Wall Street. I would love to go to Mexico. Now, since it was the World Cup today, when I was commuting to New York City, I was watching some old World Cup highlights. Now, you know what's one of my favorite, I'm not going to say one of my favorite players of all time, but one of my favorite World Cup players. Now, for any soccer fans or football fans, whatever you want to call it, I think you'll understand what I mean when I say this. You have your favorite players, but then you have your favorite players to watch during big tournaments. So I always used to love to watch Rafael Marquez. He was, I think, a center back for the Mexican national team. Great player. And then he actually finished off his career right here in New York, playing for the New York Red Bulls. Anybody familiar with Rafa Marquez? Unbelievable player. Unbelievable Mexican player. Fantastic. If you look all the way in the distance, you could see the Empire State Building, and that big blue spire sticking up to your right is the one and only Vanderbilt building. Yeah, Gary Carpenter, I did see that. Morocco won. Congratulations, Morocco. They are the first African nation to make it this far in the World Cup, so congratulations for that. Making history. Love that. Hey, Kathy Lyons is joining us. Yeah, Will M, he was a Barca player, you're right. Lynn, good to see you from California. This is West 4th, Cornelia Street. We'll walk down this street just because it kind of looks nice with all the lights and the outdoor dining. Hey, how's it going? Wow, they did a good job with this too. Will M says, I got a crazy story. I was studying abroad there when they won the Champions League in 2006, possibly the most epic night on the town ever. Oh my God. Dude, I could only imagine. Jeez. What an experience that must have been, dude. But I think Argentina is going to win it all. I think they're going to bring home the World Cup if I had to bet money on it, which I won't, but I think they'll probably win it all. At least that's who I want. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, please hit the like button on the video. Also hit the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams about 5 days per week, starting at 8:30 Eastern time, between New York City and Miami, and we'd love to have you guys here. Obviously, Saturdays are the days where we take off. We just walk around the city, we kind of hang out. But Monday through Friday is when we have deep discussions about the financial markets. So we'd love to have you here. Here's another coffee shop. We'll continue to push on down the block here. Teresa Diaz, thank you for the time check. Got a nice Tesla right here to the right. DH, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So we are now pushing forward as we progress to hour 2 on the stream. We are going to hit Greenwich Village. Very fun place. Greenwich Village is very known for its nightlife. Here's bar and lounge. This is always a busy place. There's always a line. You'll notice when we turn the corner here to the left, you'll see a huge line. I don't even know why. Maybe it's, I mean, obviously it seems like a nice place, but I don't know if it justifies the line. I'll try to show you guys. Whoa, look at it. It's stretching all the way down the block. Has a nice outdoor dining space though. Maybe you guys can't see it because this is blocking it, but you could see all the way down. Really big line. Blues writer, man, what memories it takes a village to raise a child. Dude, I would always have those big banners up in my high school, and I never really understood why. I guess that's a true statement, but oh, this looks like it used to be one of those old horse stables back in the day. Huge line. Susie Q. This is great video of the villages. Miss it. You moved to Florida. Which part of Florida did you move to? It seems like, and I know this is obviously not true, right? But it seems like everybody who lives in Florida at one time or the other lived in New York. It's probably more for like the Orlando, Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale area probably too, has a lot of New Yorkers. My CPA has a place in Boca Raton. I was gonna say Fort Lauderdale, but no, Boca Raton, Florida. Never been, love to go. Now, I did just want to mention something. I know Saturday is not the day for the financial talk, but next week is going to be so critical, and we're going into the end of the year. And I think next week is going to be a pivotal moment for the market. So at the beginning of the live stream, I tried or attempted to. This is Christopher Street Station, Uptown, one train to the Bronx. I attempted to do a screen share. And I want everybody, you know, on your own time, when you have free time, take a look at the stock market action on the major indices. So I'm talking about the S&P 500, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. Go back on TradingView or whatever charting software you use, Bloomberg or MarketSmith, and look at the similarities between now and 2018, December 7th, 2018 until Christmas Eve. That is when we had that massive waterfall sell-off on Wall Street. We actually bottomed on Christmas Eve and began our massive rally all the way throughout the new year. So this is 2 bars away from the very famous Stonewall Inn. So Stonewall is a very, very famous place here in the Village. It is actually widely known as the place where the LGBT movement started. You'll see it right at the corner here. Usually they have the road blocked off. Maybe they do, actually. Yeah, I think they do. I think they have the street blocked off on the weekend just because there's so many people. It's like such a very popular visited spot. And I think that's a good call. We don't really need too much car traffic. But here it is. The Stonewall Inn. Hey, Penelope is joining us from Tennessee. Penelope, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Penelope is joining us from Tennessee. Oh, guys, look at this. Talk about a very unique apartment. Look at how massive the windows are. Tons of natural light. Beautiful Christmas tree in the window. I wish it was lit up. That would have made the view a 10 out of 10. But then if you look to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you'll actually see people hanging out on the fire escapes there. You guys know I love fire escapes. Susie Q says, evening from warm Florida. Thank you, Susie. We definitely need the warmth here in New York. It's freezing out tonight. And it's a little windy, too. Hey, Robert Wiley says, hello from Memphis, Tennessee. Now, we were talking, Robert, a little bit earlier in the live stream. Ooh, I got to show this Tesla. This is one of my favorites, and my favorite color, Tesla, too. We were talking about real estate overall, and do we think real estate prices are going to come down? And usually if we use history as a guide, during major bull markets in real estate, if you take the cities and states that had the most capital appreciation or price appreciation in those real estate assets, those are the markets that tend to correct the most. And in this cycle, for whatever reason or not, I mean, Tennessee is a fantastic state, beautiful. Nashville, Tennessee is great. But Memphis, massive price appreciation in the real estate market in Memphis, massive price appreciation in the real estate market in Nashville. And I think you're going to start to see that cool off a little bit. If we talk about Texas, Austin, Texas, talk about a boom town there. I think that's going to cool off, level off. Miami, Florida, Tampa specifically, white hot real estate market there. I think it's going to come down. I think things are going to cool off. Federal Reserve raised interest rates again by 50 basis points after 4 consecutive 75 basis point rate hikes. That's definitely going to put the brakes on the real estate market again. Waverly Place. This Jeffrey's Cafe always looks fantastic. Let me try to get this off the screen here. There we go. Hey, Chris Beeman. Speaking of a very white hot real estate market, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona is definitely really white hot. Evan Weeks, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Sam says, can you go to the Twin Towers Memorial Park? Not tonight, unfortunately. I do apologize for that, but we'll hang around the Village. Just the World Trade Center is a little bit too far out of the way for us tonight. I see out and about, our moderator from another white hot housing market, although not in the United States, but in Toronto, Canada.
Should we go down this way?
Here's some more amazing architectural marvels here. Hey, Vinny Castellano. This is Tom, you need some hot cocoa. I think I may get another coffee at the conclusion of the stream. Now, for those of you who joined the live stream last night, we had a little bit of a coffee debate. And, McDonald's coffee is not bad. Not bad. Ticker symbol MCD. McDonald's. Very dominant. And I also learned something new about coffee, which I never knew. Many of you already did, but supposedly the lighter the roast, right? Let's say you go to Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, wherever you get a cup of coffee, right? And you ask for a light roast. That's going to have significantly more caffeine than a dark roast. Never knew that. I always thought the darker the roast, the more caffeine. But it's actually the exact opposite. Never knew that. Hey, FredX, what's up? Yeah, the only thing is, here, usually after 6 o'clock, especially on the weekends, all of the good coffee places, like the locally owned coffee places, they close down. So really the only options are like a McDonald's late at night. Hey, Mike MTL, darker beans have to be roasted longer, releasing the caffeine. Never knew that. Never knew that. Ryan Royal, what's up? Good to see you, Ryan. Austin City Limits is also cold brew. No, that's Ryan Beck. Says also cold brew seems stronger. I think cold brew has more caffeine, right? Yeah, I think I know that 100%. I think cold brew does have more caffeine because it's steeped, right? It's steeped overnight. I think it takes like 24 hours to make it. Hey, Robert Hickman. This is Tom. I have Starbucks right by my work, but I'll skip there. Get a black coffee from McDonald's, just prefer it. It's not bad coffee, actually, from McDonald's. I'm pleasantly surprised about it. Wow, this is a great shot. Unobstructed view of the beautiful One World Trade Center all the way down in Lower Manhattan from the beautiful Greenwich Village, New York. Dusty Cole, good to see you. Thank you for joining tonight. Steak says BBIG will explode to the moon. What is BBIG? All right, I think we are in the clear to cross. There's some cool shops and restaurants down here. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Hey, Robert is here. Somebody says Kona coffee is good. What is that? Somebody's lined up. All these people are lined up for something. Maybe it's like a comedy club. We'll see. We'll try to cross the street and get a view from the other side. This seems like a nice cafe in here too. Wow.
I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
Timothy Chapo, thank you for being here. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Maybe it seems like one of those speakeasies. Now, there are some active speakeasies still in the city. And a speakeasy essentially was like a secret bar during Prohibition, right? Because alcohol was banned. So there were some very secretive places in the city that would serve alcohol And when my family came to the United States, that was the business we were in. We actually owned multiple speakeasies in the city, one of which being right on the outskirts of Times Square. We'll continue to push down here as we get closer to the One World Trade Center. We should be coming on Bleecker Street in just a moment. Teresa Diaz, thank you for so much. Appreciate it. Now, I do also want to note, oh, here's Blank Street Coffee. These things have been opening up all over the city. Anybody in the chat ever been to Blank Street? I think the only time I've been here was the one on 57th Street. But I've been seeing these pop up all over the place in the city. Seems to be the new trending place, I guess. New York Rangers 94, Yanks 2000s. The best speakeasy in the city is at the American Express Club in Terminal 4 at Kennedy. Wow, I never knew that. Thank you for sharing that. Now, we are noticing, and I want to keep an eye on this trend as we head into the trading week next week. And that is, I think energy is going to have a bad week again. I think a lot of the classic pure play oil stocks like ExxonMobil, Chevron, and the like are going to continue to get hammered, mainly because we've been having this massive retracement in crude oil. This is Bleecker Street Pizza, very famous place here. And we've been having this retracement from our all-time record high in crude that we reached back in March at around $130. We're trading at 72. And usually when we develop these divergences, when the commodity is going lower, and we've constantly and very consistently been having the pure play oil and gas companies hit new record highs, that gap or that divergence is going to close. It's either the stock is going to catch up with the commodity or the commodity is going to catch up with the stock. And it seems as if right now the stocks are going to catch up with the commodity, which means energy stocks may take a big hit. We'll see. We'll see. This is also a really cool place. It seems as if it's a big hopping place here, the Blind Tiger. Oh, interesting. So Al Baker says, Tom, they say the best coffees in the world come from Ethiopia. That's where it originated from. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, we have more of the Santa guys here. Now, I really like the contrast with this white building up against the red fire escapes. I think it's a pretty nice contrast there. Ibrahim Azam says, where are we now? We are still in the Village. This is the corner of Bleecker Street and Jones. We're going to be exploring... this is John's of Bleecker. Another very famous place. Very good pizza place. Now, I think if you come here, though, you're not allowed to order individual slices, I think. If you go to John's of Bleecker, I think you have to order an entire pie. So bring a friend or bring me. It's up to you. But yeah, if you need someone to go to John's of Bleecker, hit me up. PLA 30 says, Tom, there's a whole story about how coffee, when sent to Europe, kicked off the Industrial Revolution. I'm going to have to do some research into that. I'm very curious. Thank you for sharing that. Cornelia Street again. This is one of the streets in New York that kind of curves around like a horseshoe shape. Also has a lot of nice outdoor dining space. This is Tacombi, which is like a Mexican restaurant, tacos. They also have another one up near 79th Street, excuse me. 79th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Right near another pretty good coffee shop, which is called, blanking on the name. I actually just went there with a client. Irving Farm, that's it. Irving Farm Coffee Roasters. If you take the 1 train to 72nd Street, it's right there. You get off, and you are literally outside the coffee shop. Wow, look at this outdoor dining facility here. Very unique. Very well constructed and well done, I must say. Wow, really nice. Yeah, Ryan Royal, I agree. The whole entire area is really nice. Wow, look at how unique this is. These are like big, almost, whoa, I've never seen this in my life. This is the first time. Could you imagine living in this thing? This is probably a massive garage door. And then your apartment is above. Wow, that is really, really cool. How wealthy do you think you have to be to have your own personal driveway here in New York City? Insane. I'm going to try to stand back a little bit so you guys can actually get a better view. But you have your own personal driveway right here in Manhattan. Unbelievable. Such a unique piece of property here. And you know what, everybody, if you look closely, you could actually see some of the, I guess I would say like a metal fence, which leads me to believe they probably have a really, really nice roof deck here as well. Rich Child 9, is that true? The Nespresso coffee maker sold out for the holidays? Yeah, Will M says, I bet there's an insane car behind those doors. Now, I've told you guys this probably 1,000 times, but just on the off chance we have somebody watching that hasn't heard the story. I used to work on the Upper West Side. Whoa, look at how unique this one is. And I used to work literally right across the street from Jerry Seinfeld's personal garage. So he bought an entire building and converted it into his own private garage. The thing is unbelievable. And this was when I was a teenager still. This was my first job. I was actually washing cars, rental cars, when they would come back to the garage. And we were right next to Seinfeld. I'd always see him on his bike. But right up until I quit the job, he just started filming his new TV show. I'm going to butcher the name. I think it was Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. And it's really interesting how it's filmed. If any of you guys go back and watch Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, you'll notice how they have a very unobstructed shot of Jerry in his car with the guest. The way they do that is they used to rent into the enterprise where we worked, right? They would rent like a big Cadillac Escalade. They would take out all of the seats out of the back and open the trunk, and they would put all of the camera equipment in the car in this Escalade in front of Jerry Seinfeld, and that's how they would get that cool shot. I think I have a picture of it on my phone. I'm gonna try to dig it up, but so there would be this big convoy of Cadillac Escalades filming the show. It was really cool. It's really interesting. All right, here we are again, West 4th Street. Not to bore you with that story, but anyway, you have a beautiful view of Empire State Building. And then again to the right, you have the One Vanderbilt building. Oh, Bree Grams, that is the right name. Okay, I thought I butchered it. For some reason, I always used to get that wrong when I would tell the story. August Dice, welcome. Hey, The Investigator's here. Says, Tom, I enjoy that show. Nice. I don't remember the last time I watched it, but I think it may be on Netflix now. All right, let's continue to head uptown. We are now going to push onward here. Maybe we'll make a right on Washington Place. Diana says, do these homes have elevators or most walk-ups? Now, I would assume a lot of the older buildings have walk-ups, but one of the things I've noticed as, very affluent and wealthy people have been moving into these older style buildings and remodeling them, I think they actually do custom elevator installation. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's individual elevators. Ooh, it's really windy now. In these buildings. It's a good question though. But a lot of the older ones, right, assuming they're rented to, just average individuals, these are all walk-ups. I knew a person who lived on a 7th floor walk-up. I know, Ryan Royal, isn't that funny? Ryan Royal says, I saw a few episodes of that show. Little did we know Tom was but a few feet away. It's kind of crazy, right? Hey, Andy is here from South Korea. Good to see you, Andy. Talk about another country that performed amazing during this World Cup. I mean, my God, South Korea put on a show. Really, really explosive and fun team to watch. I've said it before, there's a handful of teams, they may not be my favorite teams, we'll cross the street. But I always enjoy watching them at the World Cup. I always enjoy watching Ghana. I think Ghana has just really amazing athletes, really explosive players. Japan and Korea as well are always very, very fun to watch. Now, these players may not be the most skilled and the best players in the world like Messi, right? But the tenacity and just the go-getterness, I would say, of the players is amazing, especially out of the Japanese national team and Korea. Amazing, amazing World Cup from both teams. Oh, look at this. This is a really nice shot here. I think you guys can enjoy this. This is called Family Meal. You could see everybody in there dining. It's kind of a cool contrast, right? It's a good shot because we're out here freezing, and in there it looks so warm, low light, looks kind of nice. I don't know, interesting shot, cool contrast. .32 Washington Square West. We're gonna make a left here. This is very close to the New York University Stern Building. Oftentimes we'll talk about Professor DeModerato, who's considered the Dean of Valuation. Vinny Castellano is like Croatia all the way. I still think I'm gonna go with Messi. Argentina, I want Messi to win a World Cup. Mike MTL says Messi doesn't have the stamina. What? He's been dominating this World Cup. He's been absolutely dominating. He looked like he had a lot more stamina than Cristiano Ronaldo. Every single play, the guy's off sides. But look, Cristiano Ronaldo is still a fantastic player, one of the best to ever do it. So I have no complaints. It was an awesome World Cup for him. Now, I think in this building is, it's not technically a coffee shop. It's like a training room for a specific coffee franchise here. Let's check it out. I'm actually curious now. This looks really nice with the gates here. This is McDougal Street, McDougal Alley. Ah, yes, it is. We were right. It is the training lab here. Stumptown Coffee Training Lab. So I guess this is where all of the baristas get trained. That's really cool. So I don't think it's the actual coffee shop, but this is where they do the training. Very unique. And then this is the actual coffee shop here. MZ Really, welcome. Stumptown Coffee, 30 West 8th Street. You know what I may do, everybody, because I want to just give you guys a visual. I think we're going to leg it all the way down to, you guessed it. Actually, I won't say. I think you guys already know where we're going to go. Because it's Saturday night. How can we not go there, right? We'll go. We'll take a little bit of a detour. It's Saturday night, World Cup. Very busy week next week on Wall Street. We'll take a little detour. It's no big deal, right? No big deal. Oh, is that right? The Dark Horses, you purchased their coffee, they're from Portland, Oregon. Interesting. Michael Joseph's thoughts about computerized machine coffee makers. Now, I saw something, I think they're in a lot of airports in Japan. They're coffee shops that are all robots. So they're just robots that make the coffee for you. And I think they may have serve alcohol too. I don't know. I think those things, right, it could easily be automated away. But here's the thing. Those sort of experiences are just exactly that. They are experiences. So I don't drink alcohol, but I'm assuming when you go to a bar, right, one of the main reasons why you go there is to hang out with friends and interact with other humans. You probably get to know your bartender, him or her by their first name. You get to know each other, right? So I don't think that would be a good product market fit to replace bartenders with a robot, just because the whole point about going to bars and cafes and things like that is for that classic human experience. So I really don't think, even though AI and robotics could totally decimate that whole industry with ease, I just don't think it has the appeal. I could be wrong, but what do you guys think about that? Thoughts there? Andy's is right. Yeah, Michael Joseph's hot water and coffee is not. Yeah, I think in big cities, right? It's a more of an experience thing. The bandit, God. Jeez, God bless you, man. Hey, Design Ideas. Thank you so much for your very kind $10 donation. I appreciate it very much. Now, I appreciate all the donations, but we're using a different streaming software, so I may have missed a lot of it. And for those of you who don't know, we usually use Prism Live for the live streaming, but it is broken and I cannot see the comments. So we're using this other bootleg. I shouldn't say bootleg. Take that back. We're using a different streaming software that it's almost impossible to read the comments. So I really can't see the donations. So thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Anybody who donated to the stream tonight, very much appreciate it, and wish you a very happy holidays. Love is Kind says, I have a lot of thoughts on AI taking away people's jobs. Yeah, I mean, it's there's going to be a ton of disruption, and I think our politicians are caught off guard on that. Now, speaking of autonomous driving, EVs, that AI topic, I think Tesla last week, or may have been 2 weeks ago, finally delivered their Tesla semis to Pepsi. Is that correct? So I think Pepsi now has the Tesla semis, and we're going to see how that works out. SK says, drinking coffee and or alcohol is a quote-unquote romantic human experience. Robots may be 200 years in the future. Yeah, I agree. It's more of like an interpersonal thing. I think robots will serve its purpose, but I don't think you'll be able to replace, true human interaction. You're just not going to. I have a story about that, and I have some recommendations. But first, I got to do it. I got to put you guys on the cold, dirty New York City ground. So just beware for the rats. Be on the lookout. Look alive. How'd you guys make out? Hopefully you guys were all right. So I have a few recommendations for anybody interested in learning more about AI, machine learning, robotics. Now there's a brilliant gentleman that goes by the name of Dr. Kai-Fu Lee. And he's written many books. He used to be the former president of Google China during the tech and telecom boom. His job was to drive adoption of Google search in China. Now, I don't want to spoil the entire story. We've actually done dedicated live streams about this before. But he is a brilliant guy. And he talks about a very specific example that we were referring to tonight as it relates to the human element that cannot be replaced. And the story goes like this. I guess first I'll give you the 2 book recommendations. Now, the first book recommendation is called AI Superpowers. So once again, AI Superpowers by Dr. Kai-Fu Lee. And the second book that he just came out with is AI 2041. Now, Dr. Kai-Fu Lee is retired now, but he does run and operate a venture capital firm that is solely dedicated to investing in Chinese AI and machine learning startups. So Chinese-based AI and machine learning startups. The venture capital firm is called Sinovation Ventures. I would highly recommend visiting the website, taking a look at all their investments. I think you'll learn a lot. But there was one story in the book about home care and elderly care. This is actually going to be the new Wegmans, by the way. I'll cross the street, I'll give you guys a better look. But there was this device that they were putting in these patients' homes. Let me just cross here. So there were these devices that they were putting in patients' homes. And it was supposed to help the patients with, I forget the exact story. I think it was sort of like an RPM device, like a remote patient monitoring device, something of that event. And do you know what the patients actually ended up doing with the device? They ended up taking the batteries out and calling the 1-800 number or the help desk, not because they needed help with the device, but because they just wanted to talk to somebody. And sort of my background, for those of you who don't know, is I sell software and tech into home healthcare agencies exclusively. So I know a lot of these nuances about the industry. Patient loneliness is a big thing. It is very, very real. And that's why home healthcare in and of itself is almost a godsend, because a lot of people, they don't have family that is surviving them, right? You could have many, many elderly people who live alone and suffer from loneliness, and the only time that they have human interaction is when they're talking to their home health aide, right? So the theory here, as it relates to AI, Dr. Kai-Fu Lee published a study at Carnegie Mellon University. It was about just exactly that. Now, AI and machine learning will have its use cases in society, but I don't think it'll ever replace that human element, right? I find it very hard to believe that you could talk to a robot and have that sense of loneliness go away. I just am not buying that for now. Anyway, I thought I'd tell you that quick story. All right, team, we've made it to Astor Place, St. Mark's Place, on a Saturday night. Yeah, Will M., you're right. Will M. says, Tom, did you know there are no Wegmans in Albany? They're all over New York. No, I did not. Now, I think Wegmans is based out of Rochester or Syracuse, something like that. Duke 1773, welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Michael Joseph, I think that's a really good point. Now, again, I think there's going to be use cases for AI and machine learning, but I don't think it'll take over everything. I think the argument that I'm trying to make is I find it very hard to believe that an AI could satisfy a classic or a traditional human experience. All right, so we made it here to St. Mark's. Very fun and happening area here in New York. But if you guys have been enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button. Click the subscribe button if you're new, because we do these live streams about 5 days a week between New York City and Miami. We do start at 8:30 p.m. New York time.
Anytime you shop this open at fucking 11 p.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, Deborah, you're right. There is a Wegmans right there at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. But I feel like it's so far away, right? I used to frequent the Brooklyn Navy Yard all the time. I used to walk near the Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn, all the way up to Navy Street. Yeah, Gary Carpenter.
We gotta go pick up our friend.
This is sweet. Kissing with
Hey, Vivian says, thank you, Tom, and have a good weekend. Vivian, thank you for joining tonight. Appreciate it. And I hope you have a very restful Sunday, because it's going to be a busy week. Now, again, I will not be live tomorrow. Ooh, this guy just got a ticket. Not good. So I will not be live tomorrow. I will be traveling all day. Hopefully my flight doesn't get delayed. Please God. It's supposed to be very rainy or snowy or something. 6 days ago week, we are going to be hearing from the Federal Reserve, the FOMC meeting. We'll find out whether we're going to get a 50 basis point rate hike or a 75 basis point rate hike Wednesday. But we're also going to get the CPI report, which is the Consumer Price Index. Obviously, all of you know that we are more interested in the core CPI number as opposed to the headline. So we'll see. I mean, we got the PPI number out on Friday. We talked about it. We did a deep dive last night. But the overall trajectory is down, right? So I think if we're being honest about it, inflation is moving in the right direction. Energy prices specifically are coming down. Crude oil is collapsing, which is good. But it seems as if food inflation is being really, really pesky here. Hey, it's being really, really pesky here. 2nd Avenue, if we continue down, I think there's more Santa guys over here. If we continue down 2 more avenues, we're gonna hit into one of the greatest bookstores in the city. It's called East Village Books. This is actually where I got an original copy of Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. Now, I think they acquired it from an estate sale on the Upper East Side, but when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I think the book is worth like $1,000. But I got it there. Sometimes you'll be able to see really, really old and fine hidden gems in that sort of used bookstore right here at East Village Books. For those of you who don't know, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator is one of the greatest investment books of all time. Now, I heard rumor on Wall Street is that if you work for Paul Tudor Jones, that is a required reading. He makes you read Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, which is loosely based on Jesse Livermore, right? And I have an original copy. Calvin Altwood, thank you for your positive comment. I appreciate it. I guess we have enough time to walk over to the bookstore. I'll show you guys. Yeah, Mike C says a trip to the grocery store is jaw-dropping these days. It is, and it's sad. I mean, what did we hear about the PPI report yesterday? Now, for anybody who did not get a chance to see or view the PPI report, not to worry. I got you covered, okay? So relax. We got it covered here on Walks on Wall Street. All you got to do is type !PPI in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to the Bureau of Labor Statistics PPI report, and you could actually read through the report yourself and see what the areas were that were improving and the areas that were not. And unfortunately, I think there was about a 38% increase in some specific food categories, which brought up the entire total of food to about 3% year over year. And remember, these are producer prices, not consumer, but again, definitely does trickle down. Michael Joseph says, FOMC has me nervous. A recession seems inevitable at this point. I'm just waiting for Powell to pivot, but he's not. Now, there's an interesting dichotomy here about the pivot. Usually, and I'll give you guys as like a little bit of homework because we will not be streaming tomorrow. Look back throughout history, and we always say this right on the stream. We want to be students of history and do the work. So look at historical bear markets and historical recessions as it relates to monetary policy changes. Okay, that's going to be your homework. And notice what happened in 2007, leading up to the great financial crisis of 2008, as it relates to a change or a fundamental pivot in monetary policy, both conventional and non-conventional, by the way. So that'll be some homework, and we'll review that at a later date, at a later time. But I think you'd be quite surprised. I know, that's so funny. All right, St. Mark's Place. Penelope says these live streams are shrinking our world. There's over 1,000 people here bringing us closer together. That's insane. I never in a million years when I started doing these streams thought there would be 1,000 people watching. It just is just ridiculous. But I appreciate it very much. It means a lot. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, Mike C is like 3%, more like 30%. Now, Mike, I told you the story about Chipotle, right? Now, Carl Quintanilla, thank you so much, Teresa Diaz. He's a great follow on Twitter, and he retweeted a Bank of America survey at Chipotle customers saying, why are you cutting back on going to Chipotle? An overwhelming amount of the respondents said it was because of the price. And it's true. My God, I went into Chipotle, got a regular steak bowl, $14.95. I mean, Maron, my God, crazy. Now, I know what you're thinking. All right, $14 is not the end of the world. It's not, but I mean, you have to put it in perspective here. As a single person, right, I tend to think about things a little bit different. So imagine if you had a family of 5, just to go out to Chipotle, you could be spending $75 at Chipotle. It's ridiculous. I used to get a chicken bowl, steak bowl, for like $11.95, $12, and that's in Manhattan. All right, team, we've made it. I have a very, very big recommendation for all of you. This is East Village Books. This is one of my favorite places in the city. Now, if you look close enough and you know what you're doing, you can find some extremely rare books here, and their finance section is unmatched. So sometimes I'll come in here and you could find some extremely, extremely rare finance books right here. Again, there was an original copy of Reminiscences of a Stock Operator right here in this bookstore. It's a $1,000 book, the original copy. There's also a lot of, like the Ben Graham books. I got to show you guys and do a stream in my library sometime. I think you guys would enjoy that. I have a lot of old, very original from the 50s and sometimes even older, of original Wall Street finance books. I think you guys would enjoy it. I'll have to post a picture on my Twitter sometime. If you want to see that, you could follow at Walks Wall Street on Twitter. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I gotta show you guys something. I gotta walk back a little bit though. So this place, it's supposedly a very famous, I think, Korean restaurant. Now, I wanted to go here before in the summer, but I think it was all booked up and then I sort of forgot about it. Mokyo. I think I'm pronouncing it horribly, but can anybody look that up? I think this is a very, very famous place. I was gonna go here with a friend over the summer, but it was so busy, there was just no reservations. I think this is very similar, perhaps, to a Her Name is Han or a Take 31 style cuisine.
Well, okay, so I want to make sure that you're in a
And those two restaurants are further uptown, further away, 31st Street and 5th Avenue, right near Koreatown, right? The original Koreatown is 32nd Street, but there's all different types of Asian cuisine and Korean specifically in and around the neighborhood. Yeah, Randy, you're right. Tompkins Square Bagels. I think it's to the left here. Maybe we'll take a walk by it. I don't think I've highlighted it on the stream before, but you're right. It's right over here. This bar is always packed. Notice the very unique, I would say, graffiti artwork on the side. Hey, Chan, this is time for me to go. See you, Tom, in chat. Chan, please have a great Sunday. We'll see you back here probably Monday, if not Tuesday. I'm going to be doing some travel, so we'll probably regroup together here as a team on Tuesday. I'll see you guys, but let's try to go up near Tompkins Square Bagels. I haven't been down here in a long time. I'm kind of glad we took this route. I don't think we've streamed this since the summer, right? Anybody know the last time we sort of streamed this neighborhood?
I feel the same way you do. How did they get that big all the time?
Wow, I never knew they had a Ralph's Italian Ice here. Now, this is a Long Island establishment. At least I think it's originated from Long Island. I always used to go here after going to Jones Beach as a kid. Well, not this one, but the one in Massapequa Park. Never knew they had one here. Ralph's Italian Ice. Interesting. Oh, R2K 2007 says Korean inspired. Okay. I'll have to check it out. All right, I think the bagel shop is up here. Tompkins Square Park, also really good for skateboarding back in the day. Oh, Brad's Brain says, Tom, check out the tweet I tagged you in earlier. I found some old notebooks of mine. I'm going to check it out. Thank you, Brad. So you're talking about like old trading notebooks? I'm interested in that. I'll take a look. It's somewhere around here. I haven't been here in so long. Ooh, but we've been streaming for 2 hours and I got to get back to the train. All right, let's start to cut in more towards Midtown. I'll take you guys back to the Moynihan train station. So I'll take you with me, but Joe Driver says, Tom, are you a WLIW radio fan? I don't think I've heard of it, but I'm not a big radio guy because very seldom do I ever drive in a car. But I think I've heard of it. You know what I like listening to sometimes? 10-10 wins, because when the market closes, sometimes they'll have the Bloomberg guy come on, like the very iconic Bloomberg market report. He sort of sounds like a 1940s like ticket tape stockbroker. I love that, the Bloomberg market report. He's like the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ. I like listening to that sometimes. I think it's actually called the Schwab Market Update. Hawaii says, why is that book $1,000? Well, if you go out and buy the book now, right, it's probably like $5. But I'm talking about the original copy, right? Now, I would say the most famous, maybe not the most sought after, but I would definitely say one of the most famous finance books for value investors is a book called Margin of Safety by Seth Klarman. And we talk about this a lot, but we do have new people here. But Seth Klarman is a very, very successful value investor, extremely successful. And he actually wrote a book called The Margin of Safety. This is Mount Sinai, Beth Israel, I believe, in the distance here. And there was originally 5,000 copies. There's only 5,000 copies in circulation, and it's such a famous book. If you have an original copy, I think they could sell for over $1,000 for a single copy. And now, I first read the book via a PDF, right? So there's multiple PDFs online for this book. I would highly, highly suggest reading it. It's one of the greatest value investing books ever written. Whoa, look at this place. This looks pretty cool. You can get a PDF for free online, but the original copy is just like a treasure, and it's amazing. These look like unbelievable, fantastic Italian pastries here. Oh, Brad's Brain says, yeah, Tom, there were old notes of me studying IBD years ago, before online charting, etc. Wow. Brad, I'm gonna have to take that out. I'm gonna have to check that out. Brett, I think you were on the stream yesterday. I'm serious. You got to listen to that podcast that I dropped there, especially as an IBD Can Slim guy. You would love that. They interview and do a deep dive analysis with one of the portfolio managers of O'Neill Global, which is the family office for William J. O'Neill. I think you'd really, really enjoy that podcast, because the setting of the podcast is actually a value investors quant podcast. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, why would they have a growth stock investor on? That doesn't really seem like a good fit. And you would kind of be right. But I think the biggest misconception as it relates to Can Slim investing, really nice Christmas trees here in these apartments, is that Can Slim investing is actually mostly fundamental based and quantitative. People just think that since we're looking for growth stocks, it's more like gambling, but it's really, really not if you actually do it properly, right? There's a specific set of characteristics we look for, like earnings growth, high return on equity, pre-tax and after-tax margins. So I think you like it. If you type IBD in the chat, it's going to drop the link to that podcast. It's about 40 minutes. I would definitely take some time out of your day when you're relaxing to have a listen. Yeah, Michael Joseph says, Tom definitely has a driver's license but never drives. That is true. This is a really nice Christmas tree here in this apartment. Or I should say the lobby of the apartment. All right, 2nd Avenue. Ooh, I'm glad we came over here. I want to show you guys something. But we do have to continue to push Uptown, but we'll take one more detour. During the holidays, the city looks really, really nice, especially as they have these Christmas tree sort of stands for sale here. Doesn't this look really nice? Hey, Tom from Midtown is here. Wow, it's been there since 1894. I've never been there. In all of my years, I've never been there. I'm gonna have to go. I never really come down this area, but it's nice. Oh, look what they made out of these. These are like miniature wooden reindeer. These are kind of funny. Ed says, Tom, have you ever watched Billions on Showtime? I haven't, but I've been getting that recommendation so much. Billions. I think it's about what? Investment banking, Wall Street. I don't really watch that much TV. I don't even really have a TV. I only have the TV for the Airbnb guests. Very seldom do I watch TV, but I'm going to check it out. I promise you that. I'm sure it's very interesting. Now, this is a good coffee shop, right? I got to recommend this. 787. Very, very good. This is actually, I come down here to get my hair cut. Which I finally managed to get 2 weeks ago, by the way. I was looking like... I'll give you a funny analogy since it's a World Cup season. For all of those Italian soccer fans out there, if you can find out who the goalkeeper was during the 2006 World Cup, very famous Italian goalkeeper, that's how long my hair was getting. Ooh, Ryan Royal, it's 11:05. Whoa. Yeah, we got to put the pep in our step. Now, Saturdays is obviously weekend schedule for the LIRR, so the train times are rolled back an hour, so we'll still be on time. Lizzie's, Tom, what time does the plane leave? It's supposed to leave around 1, but I have some concerns because it's either going to be raining like crazy or it's going to be snowing tomorrow, so we'll see. East 10th and 3rd. We should be right next to the H Mart here. All right, we got the light. No, Zozo Bombs says, Tom, did you see the movie Trading Places yet? I have not, but that's on my to-do list. I wrote it down. If it's on the to-do list, I'm gonna do it at some point. East 11th Street headed Uptown. Wow, the AMC theater is actually crowded. AMC is one of those nonsense meme stocks, right? But it does look like there's a sizable line here. I'm not sure what movie is playing that caused this line, but there's a line nonetheless. That's strange. I wonder why there's a line for the AMC. All right, East 12th Street. Kid's in a t-shirt. Hopefully he doesn't catch a cold. Neil Bell, Gigi Buffon, you're correct. I think he was one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time, in my opinion. Again, I'm biased because I am a big Italian soccer fan. Gigi Buffon came up big in the 2006 World Cup. I think he saved not one but 2 penalties. I think. Maybe he just saved one. Hey, LFG says, where in the city are you at? Are you in Koreatown? We are not. This is the Village, East Village. But we will be coming up on Koreatown probably in 15 minutes, depending on how fast I walk. Koreatown is 32nd Street. Now, I think the goalkeeper of this World Cup, in my view, has been the Mexican goalkeeper. Obviously, they're kicked out of the tournament, but unbelievable saves from Ochoa. Amazing talent. I think this is going to be his last World Cup, unfortunately, with the Mexican national team. But talk about an amazing, amazing talent, that guy. Yo, Robert, that's hilarious. I'm going to write a synopsis in the newsletter, actually, of my entire review of Trading Places. Hilarious. Wow, Dan Zhang. Okay, I'll check it out. Dan, what are you doing this weekend, man? Any big plans? Oh, and I forgot to follow up. Did you move, by the way? I think you said you moved out of Long Island City. Someone says, hey Tom, what are your thoughts on tape reading and footprint trading? I don't know what footprint trading is, but I think reading the tape is very important, right? But first and foremost, before any of that, you gotta focus on the fundamentals first. I think where a lot of retail, traders and investors make the biggest mistake is they focus too much credence on technical analysis for generating trade ideas. You should never generate trade ideas with technical analysis. You should generate your trade ideas through fundamentals by first starting off with a top-down approach to understand the macro environment, right? Now, once you understand the macro environment and you also understand the monetary policy environment, then you can look at leading economic indicators. And a lot of those leading economic indicators we talk about each and every night on the live stream, right? The ISM manufacturing numbers, the PMIs, the services PMI. We talk about housing starts, we talk about permits. And we use those, right, in a general sense to try to generate trading ideas based upon the fundamentals of the companies. If companies are growing their earnings and have accelerating earnings and sales, right? I think where a lot of people go wrong is they just pull up a bunch of charts and say, hey, this chart looks like it's coiling and it looks like it's gonna go. I think a lot of that is nonsense, right? I think you really, really gotta do deep analysis in these companies, and then once you generate your ideas, you can use technicals for timing and entering your positions to get the best fill. But again, that's just my opinion. Because at the end of the day, right, I always think back to what Peter Lynch always says. And Peter Lynch is arguably one of the greatest mutual fund managers of all time. He used to run the Fidelity Magellan Fund. He grew the AUM from 16 million to multi-billion dollar AUM. And he's like, look, behind every stock is a company, right? A living, breathing company that is either doing good and growing their earnings and expanding their operations, generating free cash flow, or it's not. Or it's a dog that is sick, right? So, do I read tape? Yes, I do. But what you'll find is, a lot of the times when you're doing analysis on a good company that is generating a ton of free cash, that has earnings acceleration, The chart tends to look really good because institutions are accumulating the stock, right? They tend to be trading near 52-week highs, things like that. All right, team. Now we are at the beautiful Union Square. Wow, this is a really long stream. We've been going for like 2.5 hours. Really nice view, by the way, of the Empire State Building. Ooh, Harry Connor says rain forecast around 10 p.m. What time is it right now? I thought it was like 11 o'clock at night. Because we started streaming at what, 10? No, we started streaming at 8:30. And we've been going for 2.5 hours. Crazy. Well, it's Saturday. It's been a long stream. I'll take you guys back to Penn. Somebody says, what walking shoes do you recommend for what you do? Man, I have very beat up shoes on. They're probably a year old. Cole Haan shoes that are beaten to oblivion. And these are the shoes that I usually wear when live streaming. Mainly because if we're doing, 10 miles a night, 13 miles a night, it definitely puts a wear and tear on the shoes. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a long time. Empire State Building equals signpost equals know where you are, from our good friend the Swan. I hope he's doing well. I haven't seen the Swan in a while. The Swan is our good friend from Ireland. Bill Rollins 11:15. Lizzie says 11:15. Thank you so much. 11:15 New York time. Appreciate it. Joe Coffee is okay, not bad. Yeah, Wendy England, you're correct. I have terrible, horrible shoes. But we'll be in Miami, Florida next week. I have to do some things around the house. Have to take care of some business down there. Hopefully we'll get a couple streams in. I think you guys will enjoy a change of the scenery just so you could see what downtown Miami and Brickell looks like. Maybe we'll try to do some streams from South Beach. It's really, really nice down there. And also, now that we're getting into the winter months, this is just around the time when a lot of the dolphins start jumping in and out of the water, right around Bayside Marketplace. For whatever reason, we always see them on the live streams in the winter. But as we head into the winter, I think we're going to see a lot of dolphins, sea turtles, all that good stuff. It's unique to see it on the stream live, so I think you guys may enjoy that. All right, Broadway East 19th Street. We're about to see arguably one of the better views of the Empire State Building. I know, Penelope. I missed the Swan too. Now, I have heard from the Swan, well, not from the Swan directly, through somebody else who watches the stream. He still watches, he just doesn't comment. For reasons I don't know, but he watches. We have a lot of people like that too. I call them the ghost viewers, right? We have a ton of people that always tune into the streams but don't chat, which is cool, which is fine too. I appreciate everybody, all equally. Melissa White says, Tom, where's the skateboard? The skateboard is in my closet, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to make some more skateboarding content for you guys. I see my friend Nicole is here. What's up? This is dolphins. Yeah, there's a ton of dolphins in Miami, especially during the winter. Also the manatees. So right where I live right off of a canal, I guess you could call it. A creek or a canal. And it's fresh water. So manatees are always swimming and migrating up the canal. It's amazing. Really, really amazing creatures. Manatees, especially I think the baby manatees are called calves, I believe. Tons of them where I live. East 20th Street, we're almost to our destination. Ryan Iglesias says, please do a South Beach stream. Hopefully I'll have time. I mean, the first couple days when I'm back there, I'm going to be really, really busy. But I'm going to try my best. I promise. Karina Thompson, thank you so much for joining. Karen says, thanks for the relaxing Sunday stroll. Thank you for being here. Now, I think this is probably going to top it off. This is the highlight of the night. Take a look at the Empire. And in the background, it gives a nice contrast amongst sort of like a hazy cloud cover. It's sort of like overcast. But it seems as if the clouds are very high in the sky. Nicole, are you making your way to New York this winter? You're probably happy staying in California. Much better weather, but... Krog Dog says, who's the Swan? So the Swan was one of our first viewers. Now, we used to do these live streams when there was quite literally 5 people would join each night. Right now, oftentimes we could have streams that have like 800 people on, which is ridiculous, which I appreciate very much. I never in a million years I would have ever imagined that. But the Swan would watch each and every night, and he was from Ireland in a very rural town. And he was marveled and amazed by just how tall the buildings were. And he loved the Empire State Building. And we'd always say Empire State Building is a signpost, which it kind of is. I mean, if you're new to New York, one of the pieces of advice I give is look at the Empire State Building and you'll always know where you are in proximity to it, right? To 34th Street. So just know that if you're looking at Empire State Building, you generally know where, if you're going uptown, downtown, just look at one of the street signs. Right, if you're on 20th Street and the Empire State Building is in front of you, well, you're below 34th Street. Because you could just look at 20th Street, 23rd, sort of like that. Hey, Ali Star, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So this is another big famous building here in New York City. This is the one and only Flatiron building. Unfortunately, it has all the scaffolding up. But we are right near Madison Square Park. You'll see it says Nomad Flatiron. But if you guys are enjoying the stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and hit the subscribe button if you're new. If you want to be notified when we go live again. Let me see if I can give you guys a better shot of the Flatiron. It still looks good, but unfortunately there is scaffolding. And then here's some of the buildings, very iconic, adjacent from Washington Square Park. Washington Square Park. You know it's Walks from Wall Street after hours when I'm mixing up the names of the parks. This is Madison Square Park. And the building with all the lights on it is actually the Shake Shack. And then this is Italy. Let me just try to sneak past this group without being noticed. Oh, look at this. Tesla taxi. Very, very seldom do we ever see the Tesla taxis. I know, Brad's brain. When you found the channel, we were on the skateboard every night. It's kind of a bummer, but it's also kind of good news that we're not on the board anymore, because for those of you, who weren't in the city during the pandemic, there was nobody on the streets. There was no cars, for the most part, right? There was some, but now all the traffic is back. So it's just gotten a little too dangerous to skateboard. The drivers are very aggressive now. We'll figure something out. I have a couple ideas. I want to try to reincorporate it into the channel here. Oh, Madison Square Park has a nice tree too. I didn't even notice that just until now. Oh, is that right? So Captain Super says, Tom, the National Museum of Mathematics is just up here on East 26th. I never even knew that was a thing. Wow, I'm gonna have to actually go check that out. The National Museum of Mathematics. I'll have to check it out. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it. I had no idea. Hey, Doug is here. This is evening, Tom. Good to see you, Doug. Tree looks pretty good. Not the best, but it looks good. It's in the 8s. 8-1. This is also a very unique shot of the Empire. Anthony 18 says walks from Wall Street after hours. Love it. Yeah, anytime we go over 2 hours, that's when we sort of go off the deep end into the after hours section. More often than not, we do after hours on the weekends. But we're gonna end it at 34th Street. Oh, I think that guy fell. I hope she's okay. Oh, it was a girl. Oh my God, I hope she's all right. Jeez. I think that, I don't know, is it just me or is that like the third person we've seen fall within the last 2 weeks? That poor lady fell in Koreatown. I felt so bad. And the thing is, in Koreatown, you'll notice on the floor, there's a lot of these subway grates, right? Because headed up towards Koreatown is Herald Square, which is a massive train station. One of the major transition or transfer hubs. Yeah, you gotta watch those subway grates there. This is for Disney cast member, if she's still in the chat. She always wanted me to get a shot of this mural here. So hopefully you're still in the chat. If not, I'll take a screenshot and send it to her. Now, supposedly this is a very famous rooftop bar. You'll notice the line stretching all the way down Fifth Avenue here. I've never been, but I guess for obvious reasons, if you look at the building and its proximity to the Empire, if you're all the way up there, you have an unobstructed view of that guy right there. All right, we'll press onward. Gazaro, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. We appreciate it. The LT prod. Yeah, William Brooklyn's like, please don't drink and walk. Now, did anybody see the, I just passed a sign back here. I don't think you guys saw it. But I think it was posted by the NYPD for the SantaCon thing that's going on now. No open containers. Empire State Building's looking good. Melissa White, I appreciate your kind words. Thank you. All right, one more shot of the Empire, and then we'll head up. I know, Hawaii's like, I never get tired of seeing the Empire. I never do too. I think it's my favorite, one of my favorite buildings in the city, one of them. Now, my favorite one is the Seagram building, which I've taken you guys to yesterday as we took a walk down Park Avenue, as we were analyzing the PPI numbers that came out. Hey, Dave, it's a great walk. What is your favorite rooftop bar? Unfortunately, I'm probably the worst one to ask for about something like that. Unfortunately, I do apologize. But I will give you a tip. I don't drink, but I will say this. I'm going to recommend you a better bar that is going to blow your mind. And you will not be disappointed. And I promise you that. It's called the Campbell Apartments or Campbell Bar inside the Grand Central Station. Now, when you go there and you go inside, you're just going to be at a loss for words just about, yeah, I'll say that. It's so beautiful inside. I know a lot of people, when they come to New York, they want to go to a rooftop bar. But if you go to that one, you will not be disappointed. It's so beautiful in there. So the Campbell Apartments right there, Grand Central Station. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. But I'll also give you a rooftop one, but it's actually inside a hotel on Billionaires Row. I think it's, now, of course, I forget the name of the hotel, but it's right across the street from the Steinway building. So if you go on Google Maps, look right across the street from the Steinway building, which is the Stairway to Heaven, very famous Billionaires Row building. In that hotel, it has an amazing view of Central Park and all of Midtown. And I think you'll enjoy that. Wow, perfect timing. It's just starting to rain, and we're just getting back to Penn Station. Could not be better timing. Hey, someone says, hello, watching from Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Here's another shot of the Empire. Now, that was my favorite World Cup, is the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Unbelievable World Cup they put on. All right, it looks like we're going to be stuck at the light. Got the FDNY coming through. All right, just in time because it is raining, but we'll blow right through the Koreatown, which is one of my favorite parts of the city, by the way. It's probably going to be really busy tonight because it is the weekend. It is Saturday. We are not close to the Trump Tower. Trump Tower is 57th Street and 5th. Trump Tower is pretty far away. Now, there's many Trump Towers in the city, but I think you're referring to the main one, I would say the most famous one, right? Which is right there on 5th Avenue. Now, I told you guys a really funny story about the Trump Tower. I won't tell it again because we're getting too deep into the stream, but it was hilarious. I had a business meeting there at the business center, which was beautiful, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. But we'll save that story for another night. I already told it. Ooh, your favorite was the 1994 World Cup? Was that when the United States hosted? Or was that 2002? Or was 2002 World Cup hosted by Korea? I think it may have been Korea, right? Yeah, it must have been. It must have been. Because let's think, 2006 was what, Germany? So 2006 was Germany, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2010 was Africa, South Africa. Then 11, 12, 13, 14 was... What was 14? Where was the 2014 World Cup? Brazil, right? Yeah, 2014 must have been Brazil. Then 2018 was Russia? Hopefully I'm getting this right. All right. Almost there, 2 more blocks. All right, team. I do have to call it a night, but I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and joining me on tonight's live stream, Saturday night. Thank you so much. We'll see you probably on Tuesday. I will be doing some business travel, so I wish you guys a very restful Sunday. And we'll call it a night. We'll wrap it up. I'll cut you guys loose. Thank you so much. If you're new here, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. We do go live at 8:30 New York time at night. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next one. Matthew M, SK, Melissa White, Two Wheel Pines, Nicole. Thank you so much, Nicole. God bless. See you. Have a great Sunday. Steph UH, Wendy England, Zozo, Bob, Dr. Longest, David, Abdullah, Twitch, ASMR, Hawaii, Michael Joseph, The Mighty Bull, MC Knight, Rain, Mike, MTL, Hunter, thank you so much. FredX, Jonathan Richards, Joe Driver, Ryan Royal, Garzoro, Little Larry Sellers, and everybody else. To The Mighty Bull, have a good night wherever you are, because there's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. Kevin Ramsey, Neil Bell, DM, Andy from South Korea. Thanks, everybody. Get some rest this weekend, man. I mean, seriously, come on. You guys work hard. All right, bye for now.